Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. What you're about to watch is an interview with the wonderful Chelsey Knight, where we talk about all things with her cheer career, we talk about being a flyer and what it takes to get to the top, some tips for performance and for flexibility, and we also have a really open and honest conversation about her suffering an injury and her comeback from that injury and her recovery that I think is really going to resonate for a lot of people if you've ever been in that kind of situation. So it's a great conversation. Make sure you watch all the way to the end where Chelsey talks about a competition she's running right now where you can win free stretch classes with her. That's great. Make sure you check out her social media and go follow. We're going to help bring her following up on Instagram. So I really hope you enjoy this conversation, this interview. If you do, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, put your comments down below, share it with your friends. All of that good stuff really helps us out. And for now, I'll hand it over. Enjoy. Chelsey, hi, how are you?
Hey, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I am doing well. Super busy like I know you are. Thank you for joining me today. It's going to be a fun one. I've been looking forward to having you on, a different kind of guest, doing some different stuff. And yeah, we haven't caught up in a long time. So it's
I
just fun for
know.
me, regardless of anybody else watching. So before, we get into anything else, just tell everyone about yourself, who you are, what your background, teams you work with, and all of that good stuff.
Cool. Yeah. I am 27. I've been cheerleading for, God, here we go, 18 years. Started cheer when I was 9 years old at a cheerleading team called Gemini, who are also Coventry based, and we actually train next door to one another now, as I am now on Coventry Dynamite. And so I used to dance at Gemini, and I remember every Saturday I'd finish my dance class and they'd have cheerleading in the afternoons, and I'd always hang around, and my mum would always be like, come on, like, let's go. And I'd just be looking at all these cheerleaders and I'd be like, I really want to do that. And like, I constantly nagged and nagged and nagged my mum and dad. And we went on holiday and we come back and my mum finally let me like go to a cheerleading class, and there and then I instantly fell in love with it. And it's really crazy because it went full cycle. So Sarah was my coach at Gemini, as well as the other coaches there too. And now it's crazy how it's all come back full circle. And now I'm at Coventry Dynamite and Sarah's like my coach again, and also my boss, because I also coach at Coventry Dynamite. So it's crazy. Yes. So that's a bit of
Excellent.
the background.
Good. So we're going to talk, obviously, mostly today about flying, being a flyer, and various things along that route. I think I'm fair in saying that you're one of the top flyers to have come out of the UK. Certainly most well known, perhaps, as well. And I mean, for my money, one of the most talented and best we've had come out of the sport in this country. So that's what we're going to focus. And I know that's a lot of your focus with what you're doing right now. So we're going to talk all about that stuff. So the first thing I wanted to get your thoughts on is just talk a little bit about your career as a flyer, the pressures, if you like, maybe of dealing with that, because that's obviously a tricky thing for anyone in that position, and what you think helped you, or what you think it takes to get to the top level of the sport as a flyer.
So as soon as I started cheer, I was a flyer. It's always been quite pressure, obviously, because as a flyer, even when you're watching a routine, especially when stunts are going on, obviously your eyes do get drawn to the flyer, so you know that all eyes are on you. So yeah, it's always been like pressure, but I think once I got to the stage of going to Worlds, being on a Worlds team and like being on Team England, like all of that kind of stuff, it just jumped that pressure level. But I think if I have any advice to any like flyers out there who really struggle with like confidence and things like that, you just have to kind of put these blinkers on and just like forget about everything else that's going on around you and just focus on what you have to do, and just do it for yourself and your coaches. Don't think about everyone else that's watching you and what they think and things like that. You need to just do what you're there to do. You do your job, like do your coaches proud and do yourself proud, and like your family and friends, people who are closest to you, just keep that in the back of your mind that you want to do that for them, and try and like everyone else, try and just, I don't know, not like forget that they're there, because they're literally there in the face. Like when you're in an arena full of thousands of people, it is super duper hard. But yeah, and just I find as well, so like setting yourself apart, definitely for me, I think it was the performance side of things. Like I think to set yourself apart, you have to do more than just smile, and that really comes from, I find, from like right deep down in like my core. Like I love what I do, so the one way that I can show that is by performing. And I don't know, I guess it comes natural to me now. But even if you are at home and you're practicing your stunt section, or even when you're just like stretching, always try and like smile and perform like within four walls, because then when you get to the gym, it'll come as like a natural thing. And then when you get to competition, you won't even think about it, and it'll just come so naturally to you that it'll like reduce that pressure completely. But I do know that there is a big stigma around flying, and a lot of people do get really scared of it. But I think you just have to just genuinely love what you do, and like really, really like just live in the moment. And like I've been there as a flyer when I've had horrendous runs, like really bad, like, and you think, oh my, like what has just happened? And I've come off and I've been really, really upset, and I've cried, and I've even thought about like quitting at times. But then you just have to think like we're all just human. Like you are going to make mistakes, like you are going to have those falls. It's what makes you better. And then the next time you go out on that floor and you hit your routine, it's literally like the best feeling ever, and you literally look back and you're like, that doesn't even matter anymore what happened there. Like you just can't be too hard on yourself as well, I think, because I do think, especially like with flying, people are hard on themselves, and they think they need to be this person and like look a certain way and act a certain way, when you don't. Just be yourself, like do what you do, like just be happy, like enjoy what you're doing. Like what you're doing is great, like just keep going, keep pushing at it, like you got it. It's
Yeah, I think
hard.
the pressure thing is definitely interesting, because I always think, you've got four people in a group. So, but as a flyer, you're 25% of the group, but you've got at least 50% of the pressure because it becomes that very much, it's like upstairs and downstairs almost.
Yeah.
There's two different sections going on. So, and like you say, all the eyes are up on you. So I think you have to be okay with dealing with that. You've got to appreciate it and be able to deal with that.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I remember when I first started like flying and stuff, I'd literally go home and like practice in my mirror, like to try and gain like confidence. This was when I was like really young, but for anyone starting out, I definitely would recommend just doing it. Like, and I always say to the kids I coach as well, like performing, you will probably feel quite stupid. Like sometimes you will feel a bit silly and you'll be like, God, what do I look like? But I always say, like, the sillier you think you feel, the better you're doing it. Like you just have to go for it. Like you do have to have that confidence within, like you say, like it is tough.
Yeah, I mean, the performance thing, I know, is something that I'm going to say the vast majority of coaches would like to be able to get more of, particularly out of flyers. I mean, across the whole team, but particularly in that situation with a flyer in the air, that's definitely a huge thing, and something, you know, certainly that I'd noticed you for in particular, and a lot of people I think would associate you with that strong performance style. And for me, the best flyers I've worked with over the years are the ones that are the strongest performers. They're not necessarily the best, you know, may not have the best body positions or whatever else. That's certainly a part of it. But the ones that stand out and really drive a routine are the best performers. And for me, that's so much about, they're the ones that have solid enough confidence in their technical ability and everything else they're doing. They have that confidence in what they're doing, that they're not always, you don't see the cogs turning when they're in the air, because they're not always thinking, okay, is my leg locked? Am I balanced? Am I doing everything right? And they can just pure perform without worrying, you know, not that they don't make mistakes too, but that's what I think, the quality that I really see in great flyers and great performers like that.
Yeah, 100%. Like I always say, and I've always said it, and like even my coaches have always said it, like even if your bases are doing the hokey cokey underneath you, you just got to try and like, in a way, like distract from what's going on underneath you. Like hopefully like a judge is looking at you and what you're doing, and if you look good at what you're doing, even if their grips are horrendous or like they're dancing around all over the place underneath you, like you could maybe even just distract from that a little bit. So it's kind of like your job isn't just standing up there looking pretty, it is also like really trying to like piece it all together as well, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it's and practicing that performance is an interesting, I mean, I'm glad you mentioned that as well. It's something I always talk about with athletes. Like, you know, you should not just be stretching, but practicing body positions in front of a mirror. It's something you said. I'm like, have a look and see if the elements of your body position are right, because that's hard to feel sometimes when you're doing things. And if you video it, or looking at yourself in a mirror, can make a huge difference. And practicing, I always teach, you know, practicing if you're hitting a body position, even if it's just, you know, stood in front of a mirror practicing a heel stretch, there should be a face that goes with that. Like you should be practicing that performance all the time. And I think that is something people really struggle with.
Yeah, 100%. Like even if you just make up a little section like yourself and just put on a cheer mix, or even an 8-count track. You can perform to an 8-count track. It's super easy. You don't have to know the words. It's literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
As long as you can count to 8.
Yeah, literally. Open your eyes, open your mouth, like smile, like practice, like just like any kind of facials that you are happy with, and just go for it. Like you say, I always say it, every time you pull a stretch, you should pull a facial or a smile.
Yeah, and I think that's a side of or an element of the sport that's still developing in the UK. I mean, I think I don't have to think back too many years to think when, you know, everybody was still smiling nervously, and that was about the extent of it. And it's started to catch on, but it's still not as ubiquitous as it is, you know, when you watch American teams. You know, where there's just that understanding, that culture, you know, kids come through programs and they're just always immersed in that. That's all they see. So I think for us in the UK, one of the difficulties is because it's not that ubiquitous yet. You get people, you know, kids coming in and they're not always seeing that that's how it's done. That's how it's supposed to be. So we're still at that point of trying to educate that and put that out there, which is difficult to do. So
it's hard as well from like a coaching perspective. If you do have that like flyer who is so super nervous, like I am really empathetic because I've been there, especially with flyers. Like I know how scary it is. So I kind of know how much I can push certain flyers, especially the ones who I coach. And sometimes like it is super hard, but you as a coach have to bring that out of them. Like if you're constantly saying, do this, do that, rah, 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 and then you're not giving them any positive feedback, they're not going to feel good about what they're doing, which is then going to show on their face. So you have to try and really bring it out of them in a really positive way than saying you need to perform and you need to look like this. Like it is super hard because you do just want them to perform, but you can't just make someone do it. Like that, what's that saying? You can take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. If it doesn't feel like it, it won't do it.
Yeah. Well, like you say, it's, you know, you get the best performance when it comes from that real enjoyment and love of what you're doing at the time, when you're really in that moment and you're all about it. That's when you get that, you know, you can fake it all you want, but it's never gonna to carry quite the same way. So yeah, certainly building that confidence, coming from the athlete themselves and the coach, is what's going to get to that point where you can do that and you can be that confident in the middle of a stunt section to be able to sing out loud or whatever your style is.
100%, like 100%.
Okay, let's change directions a little bit. We're going to get onto a different subject, maybe a little difficult one. Because unfortunately, one of my very clear memories with you is we were at Worlds on the football field, I recall, and you rolling in a wheelchair or something, I think at the time, having injured yourself the day, I think in practice, right? I'm pretty sure I wasn't there when you actually hurt yourself.
It was at the UK, not the show-offs, it's where we go into the tent like a few days before, and we do all of our routines.
The practice thing.
Yeah, we book it all out, and
But yeah, I certainly remember hearing that you'd gotten injured, because I think it was probably a year were you on Team England as well?
No, I wasn't on Team England that year.
Okay.
I was on it the 2 years before that.
But yeah, I mean, either way, I certainly remember hearing that you'd gotten injured and it was pretty serious, and then seeing you the next day and just you bursting into tears the second I came to talk to you, actually. So, you know, I just want to talk about that, because it's an interesting area, I think, to get into for a lot of, you know, most athletes who spend enough time in the sport are gonna run into some sort of injury issue probably at some point, you know, hopefully nothing as serious as yours was or anything major, but you know, those things happen as well. So I wanted you to talk a little bit about your experience with that, dealing with a serious injury and recovering and coming back from that to be able to compete again.
So it was the hardest time of my life. I can't actually say how bad it was in words, to be honest. Like when I did it, so I just remember it. So you go into the tent and everyone's there, and you have 2 runs. So you have your run where you can do, I think everyone does jumps, pyramids, and I think that's about it. And then anything additional that you want to do, and then you do your full out. And I just remember my bases were like, in the first run, shall we put in the main stunts? And I was like, yeah, why not? Like, I'm always up for, I don't mind it. Like, whatever. Yeah, go on, let's do it. Went fine, perfect. So then it gets to the full out, and obviously, like, the adrenaline is there, and it's like really high and things like that. Obviously, for a full out, especially in front of like all of the UK like teams who are at Worlds, like. I have a lot of friends and stuff, like, you know, like coaches who you've worked with, like everyone's there, and all you want to do is just do a good job. Like, you don't want it to flop. Oh my God. And I just remember we did a 1.5 up from prep, facing the back to the front. And I don't know even how it happened, but I ended up going backwards over my base's shoulder. And he grabbed onto my leg to stop me from hitting the floor. Like, he did his job, basically. But my knee just completely, like, twisted. So I was like, oh, my God. And it, like, was just instant pain. So I just, like, tried to, like, run across to the side of the floor, and I just collapsed. And, like, Ignite carried on. And obviously I because I think I even like shouted over like carry on, and I think I even like I seen one of my bases for pyramid try and pop themselves up into a prep to carry on, and I was just like, I was like crying my eyes out, but I was also still more concerned about what Ignite were doing. Like, and everyone was like, stop, like,
Team
are you
player.
okay? And I was like, are they hitting? Like, what's going on? Like, but yeah, and I just remember like the medics coming over, and I remember Mandy coming over as well. Sarah's mum, Mandy, she like books all of the trips and stuff for us. And she come over and she was like, oh my God, Chelsey, you're like green. And I was like, it's fine, it's fine. Like, I've just hurt myself, it's fine, it's fine. And then like the pain was getting even worse. And like the medic come over and he was like, try and straighten your leg. And I could straighten it, but the problem was I couldn't bend it. And I was like, it's just locked. It's fine, it's fine. So, and then I ended up going to hospital. So the ambulance come to pick me up from ESPN, went to the hospital, got there, had an x-ray. They couldn't see anything in the x-ray, obviously, because it was the ligament damage. So this was on the Thursday, and obviously we were competing on the Sunday, and they were like, right, we want you to come back on Sunday for an MRI, like in America. So I was like, no chance. I was like, I'm going to be competing. Like, I know I am.
Busy on Sunday.
Yeah. And I was like, no way. And I was like, even if I'm not competing, I'm not going to watch. Like, no way. So yeah, got there and they did loads of tests and they said I'd 100% dislocated it and there was probably some ligament damage in there. So then they discharged me, went to, that was when I seen you at the field, because they were doing the spring show offs. And I don't think I've ever cried so much, like ever. Anyone who'd come up to me, I was in tears. Like, I just was inconsolable. Like, it was so hard. And then I remember saying to Sarah, I was like, I'm going to be at practice tomorrow. And she kept saying, she was like, yeah, but we need a plan B. And I was like, I'm going to be there. And she was like, no, we actually really do need a plan B. And I was like, yeah, okay. And luckily, Graham's girlfriend Fiona was there. She is literally like, I'm sure she is my guardian angel. I'm not even over exaggerating. And she did like the best job, but it was so hard. I remember waking up on day one of Worlds and I was just like, I can't actually believe this is happening. But at the same time, like, even like a lot of my friends, they were like, I can't actually believe you're not doing it. Like, this is a joke. Like, surely this is not happening. But yeah, it was horrible. And then obviously Ignite did amazing. And it was super hard watching on the sidelines, because of course it is. It's so hard because you're trying to deal with your injury and the pain, and then you're dealing with like the actual emotional pain that it's putting on you. So like when we got back to the UK, I went straight to the hospital. As soon as we landed, I literally drove straight to, well, my mum drove straight to the hospital and got checked out. And it actually took a year for them to give me my surgery date. So that was in April. And then I think it was July. I was able to like walk on it and stuff. I couldn't run. I couldn't squat. I couldn't hardly do anything on it. But Sarah was like, I really want you back on Ignite if you feel comfortable with it. And I was like, yeah, 100%. But like, I don't want to let anyone down. So don't give me like a full on spot. I'll just come to practice and see how I go. I think I did like one practice. I woke up the next morning and I literally couldn't walk. And I was like, my knee was like swollen and I was gutted because like deep down, I just kept telling myself like, I can do it. But sometimes it's your body just doesn't, it can't do everything that you want it to do at that time, especially if it's like broken. So yeah, so then after that, I had a really, really down period and I couldn't even be in the gym. Like, I stopped coaching. I don't think a lot of people know this actually. I stopped coaching, I think, for a couple of months, and because I just couldn't deal with it. I literally felt like this part of my life had been completely ripped away. Like, and I just never thought that I'd be able to like like have a normal like cheer life again. And it really, really got to me. But then I think I went to the gym one weekend, and all the guys were there training for, I think it was like showcase or first comp or something. And there and then I was like, Sarah, I'm coming back. I was like, what am I actually doing? I was like, I'm coming back. And she was like, of course. Like, so then I come back to coaching, and like, it did get easier as time went on, and then the surgery come, and it felt like I had to go through the whole thing again. Like, that was super hard. So when I went in for my surgery, they told me that I was just having some ligament reconstruction. And they said that I'd be in a brace for 4 weeks, on crutches for 4 weeks, and that would be it. So that was in the May. So I was like, okay, this is fine. Like, by Bournemouth, like, I'll be walking around as normal. So I come out of my surgery and spoke to the what are they called? The surgeon? Is it surgeon? My consultant surgeon,
Yeah.
whatever they're called. And he was like, so I've got a bit of bad news. And I was like, oh no, what's happened? Like,
What's
next? Like, come on. So basically something to do with the cartilage had completely worn away on my joint in my knee. So basically they had to like break the bones to form like a scab, which is pretty much like a new cartilage. And he was like, yeah, you're going to be in a brace for 12 weeks and you'll be on crutches for 8 to 12 weeks. And I was like, guys, really?
I'm an athlete. I'm supposed to be running around.
Yeah, and I was like, God, and I think it put like a year or 18 months like onto the full recovery time. So I was like, this is just insane. Like, I actually couldn't believe what they were saying. Yeah, so that was really hard. And I don't know if anyone would have noticed, but the whole Bournemouth weekend that year, I wore like wide leg trousers because I had my brace on. And I think it was like the first weekend when I was like, I'm not using my crutches this weekend. And but underneath I had this big massive scaffolding like brace on, and I don't know if anyone noticed it, but yeah, and I was like, I'm not letting this ruin my Bournemouth weekend. It's my favourite weekend of the year. Yeah, but then so I got back into cheerleading. I think there was an injury, and yeah, it was nitro. One of the girls got injured, and Lauren was coaching at the time, and it was a Wednesday night, and Lauren was ringing me at like 10:30, and I sort of had an inkling of what this phone call was going to be, because I was like, this has got to be something to do that's happened at training, because she never rings me at this time of night. She went, what are you doing next Wednesday? I was like, nothing. She was like, we need you to fill in for nitro. And it was like 2 weeks, I think, before Jam Fest. And I was like, oh, okay. So I was like, right, yeah, I'll do it. Like, hopefully I can like do it. Like, and yeah. And that's how it kind of like the buzz come back, I'd say. Because I was really into like coaching at this point, and I was like, I'm done, I'm retired. Like, I'm not going back to cheer. Like, this injury's completely wrote me off. And then Jam Fest happened, and I literally had the best time ever. And I was like, okay, buzzing, like for Bournemouth. So then Bournemouth happened. That was, again, great. And then I think it was, yeah, that year, I then tried out again for COV. And this was when they had Ignite and Ammo. And I made Nitro. And I'm not going to lie, I was super good, but the talent that had obviously come up through the ranks, and I'd been out for 2 years, I obviously wasn't where I was before, and obviously talent grows as the years go on. So I had to just take it on the chin, and it really did. Like, I was gutted. And then I don't know, like, I just felt like when I was on Nitro, I wasn't pushing myself as hard as I wanted to push myself. And I was just like, I'm definitely retiring again. So then the bomb squad thing come up. CD are doing this new non-tumbling team, and I was like, this is me. I'm doing it. Here we go. Third time lucky. Come on. And yeah, and now I'm literally on a roll. Like, hopefully we're going to get to Worlds next year. And yeah, I just want to do one more year. Like, I want to go back into that tent, and I want to be like, I can do this horrible tent. I'm not worried about you anymore. Yeah, but who knows? Maybe one more year, maybe two. I don't know. I'm getting old now, so.
Oh my goodness. If I had a pound for every time I said one more year, or I was retiring and then didn't. And I think that's probably the same for anybody once you get past a certain age in cheer. It's very hard to get out.
It's even if you're just like coaching, like, how do you even get out of this? It's like a cult, isn't it? It's like, how do you even get out of this?
So many times. I mean, I could remember the same things, like, you know, I retired, I was done, and then because you're still around the gym, somebody gets injured the week before competition, like, great, my phone's ringing, sure, why not? Because you can't say no at that point. But
no, 100%, and you always want to do the best for your program as well. I feel like even if it was like not my program and someone was like, oh God, we need you to fill in, I mean,
Fiona did for you, so.
Oh God, I'd 100% do it for her. Fiona, if you're watching this, if anything ever happens,
Bournemouth Elite have any issues,
I'll be coming down to Bournemouth. I'll be there. No,
that's such a great story though. Like, it's, you know, it's not necessarily an atypical one either. You know, the having a major injury like that and having to deal with not just the initial issue, but with setbacks along the way and the ups and downs. I mean, I had a very similar type of injury, actually, before I'd even started cheerleading. I was only 17, 18 at the time, and the same sort of knee injury, ACL and cartilage damage. And very much, I was playing before I was cheerleading, I was playing American football at the time, and same kind of thing. It kind of settled down and I was back into playing, and into my second season started having issues with this knee again. I knew something wasn't right, but was just so desperate to play that, you know, I would go a training session and it would give out and I couldn't do anything. And this, you know, must have gone through this 3 or 4 times before the coach was like, do you think you should maybe get this sorted properly? I had to stop kidding myself that, you know, and understand what my body was doing. And then even past the point, I mean, I don't know how you feel about this. When it took me 5 surgeries to get it fixed, to be honest, it took a lot of attempts, because they were trying different things. So it was really, it was 5 surgeries before it kind of settled. And I could actually get back to playing and getting back. It wasn't the physical side of it, because the doctors were telling me, you know, you're fine. Your knees is as strong as it's going to be. It was the psychological side of trusting it again, and all of that that for me was so much harder than just, you know, you almost get like, not phantom pain, but you're like, it's giving that confidence.
It like consumes you. Yeah, I remember going back. So when I had to fill in for Nitro, I hadn't done a 1.5 up since obviously my injury. Like, that was the last time I'd done it. And in their routine, there was a 1.5 up. And I was like, honestly, that first one, oh my God, I was like, I'd worked myself up about it so much. And I remember after that call with Lauren, I remember thinking about it the whole time. Because I'd like obviously watched their routine, studied it, what I had to do. And I was like, I've got to do a 1.5 up. Even though I'd probably already have done, this is the crazy thing with an injury. You've probably done it like literally 3,000 times. That one time it goes wrong will stick with you, and you'll think that that's how every single one is going to go. Like,
absolutely.
And then when you do it, it's just like muscle memory. It just all kind of comes back. So, but yeah, it was a really hard time. Like, it was just, it's horrible. It was horrible. And I wouldn't wish it on anyone. Like, and if you are going through an injury, if anyone's watching this, but yeah, just try and be positive. Like, try not to let it consume you, because I definitely let mine consume me so much. Like, it made me feel like it had taken away kind of like my identity or something. Like, it literally felt like I'd actually lost my whole leg. Like it was horrible.
Well, I appreciate you talking about it. I know it's not the easiest subject to discuss, and that's,
No.
like I say,
I'm surprised that I actually didn't cry. I thought I was going to at some point.
Well, I hope if there are, athletes or coaches watching out there that, are experiencing stuff, I hope that's helpful to hear that from you. That's why I really wanted to kind of touch on that. So
yeah, no,
I appreciate
definitely.
you talking about it. Let's get on to happier things.
Yeah.
Tell us, I mean, really what you're up to at the moment, your current projects and what you're doing with Zoom classes and things. I know you're doing a lot of online stuff, like, aren't we all?
I
Yeah,
know.
what you're up to at the moment and what you've been doing.
Yeah, so well, when the gyms were open, I was offering flyer privates at Coventry. And then obviously when we come into this third lockdown, I had like a few of my regulars that used to come to me in the gym, and I was doing it over Zoom with those guys. And then one, like, I just thought, I'm just going to like promote this for anyone and everyone who would like help with like their flexibility, just general, if like you're literally an adult who just wants to practice their like flexibility, or if you're a flyer, if you want to like perfect like your stretching, your balance, like conditioning, anything like that. So I set up obviously my Instagram page, CK Flexibility. And yeah, just offering basically, I've had a lot of one-to-one privates with athletes from literally all over the country. I can't actually believe how like big it's blown up in such a short space of time. Like I only started offering it to everyone other than like obviously Cov kids in January, but the response has been amazing. And I am like, every time I get like someone new like message me in my DMs, I just like feel so like thankful that they actually like have messaged me. And like sometimes I just can't believe like how many teams have reached out and stuff. Like worked with a lot of cheer teams as well over the past month, which have all literally been amazing. And yeah, I can't thank them enough for having me. But yeah, just it's really fun as well. Like some days, obviously, because I am still working full time, some days I think, oh my God, like I finish work and then I have like 3 hours of Zooms until like 9 o'clock at night. And I'm like, wow, this is such a long day. And like, oh God, like even some days I'm like, oh no, like we've got so much to do today. But then like once I turn on that Zoom, it's like completely different. I just like wake up and I'm like, this is the best thing ever. And I always feel like amazing after it. Like I just love what I do, genuinely just love what I do. And I love trying to pass on all my knowledge of what I've learned over the years to other people to help them succeed. Like just to help UK cheer in general as well, I think. Like just to keep people wanting to like progress.
Yeah, it's something I've talked about with various different people yesterday. The other people I've interviewed like this, we've talked about how as much sort of Zoom fatigue as there is out there from people, from athletes and coaches alike.
Oh yeah.
One of the upsides of this whole thing is from sort of, from your type of perspective as a sort of entrepreneur, if you like, in the sport, it's the platform you have to build something. It's actually been really great. For me, the number of different teams that I've worked with that I hadn't had any contact with previously, it's crazy. So that's been amazing. And then from the other side of it, if you're a team and the opportunity to have various guest coaches coming in and working with your athletes for a short period of time, that you just didn't really have before when we're talking about in gym in the real world, like have the resources to have 10 different guest coaches in a couple of months or whatever is something
like
most people don't really have.
Yes, it's amazing. And I think it's so nice how all of us like guest Zoom coaches are really helping one another as well. Like the support everybody gives and like to one another is just second to none. It's just such a nice like community, and I think what we're doing is really great, trying to keep those kids involved and just reminding them like how amazing cheer is. And I think the kids, they do just love it, don't they? Like some of them literally just like eat,
If they're
sleep,
still logging
breathe,
on after a year,
sleep.
they definitely love it. So
Oh, I know. They're so good. And like props to all the coaches as well, like who are running their Zoom programs for their athletes as well. Like it is tough. Like like you say, like the Zoom fatigue it's definitely there, isn't it? But we've just got to keep reminding ourselves this is not forever. Like someday soon we are going to be back in those gyms, we're going to be back at competitions, we're all going to be doing what we love so soon.
Yeah. And like you say, it's so nice to see the sort of the community pulling together and people sharing ideas and sharing recommendation. You know, I see it every day, teams going, hey, we did this is a great idea, or you know, this person did this for us. You know, everybody trying to find those creative things to keep stuff interesting.
Definitely.
So last thing we're going to do, because you know, flexibility is your thing, so hopefully you're going to take us through a couple of exercises and things people can do at home in whatever space they've got and whatever equipment they've got, and things that you recommend for all the flyers out there or anyone else who wants to. And I mean, you know, you explain really what we're looking at.
Yeah, no, definitely. So one thing I'd definitely say is try and stretch as much as you can. So yeah, I try and stretch at least 5 times a week. Even if it's just a nice basic stretch, like literally just like warming up your splits. It's not always like, you don't always have to like get into body positions and things like that, but just make sure you're always keeping your body nice and stretched. But then also on the other side of that, there's obviously keep your body conditioned. I do try and keep up like my conditioning and things like that. I just do like things at home. Like YouTube's great, like you can literally just type in like.
Have you done any of my workouts yet is the real question.
No, I need to though.
Get on it, let's go.
Yeah, I'm gonna get on it. I'm definitely gonna get on it. No, yeah, 100%. But yeah, like there's so many useful things as well around the house that you can use for like practicing flying. Tins of beans, like I swear by it. Honestly,
that is old school. That's going way back. We always used to talk about tins of beans.
It's a golden oldie. It is so good, like so good. Like you can literally just stand on a tin of beans, practice your body positions. Like if you fall off, you're not gonna like really hurt yourself because it's literally from like this high. So just be careful of your ankles. Always warm up your ankles before using the tins of beans.
And you can eat the beans afterwards. Yeah, so double benefit, really.
Yeah, I actually had a Zoom the other night actually, and yeah, my athlete just kept saying, I really want to eat these after. I think it was like spaghetti hoops or something. And I was like, I hear you, sis. They are so good.
You got to earn it with your workout first, though, if you're going to eat.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, just make sure you're keeping your body nice and conditioned. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, I think we'll wrap it up there. Cool. I mean, thank you so much for coming on and sharing all that stuff. It's been great talking to you.
No, thank you so much for having me.
Where can people find you online and all of that good stuff?
So yeah, my flexibility page is on Instagram, and that is ck.flexibility. So nice and easy, just my initials and then flexibility.
I'll put it down in the description and stuff as well. So
yeah, and then my personal one is just at Chelsey Knight X at the end, and then on Facebook it's just Chelsey Knight as well.
Cool. And they, if people want to book you for stuff, they contact you directly through those.
Yeah, directly through those. Either one is fine. But I've also got a giveaway at the moment. So I'm trying to get to 1,000 followers. So if you head over to ck.flexibility, I think all you have to do is like the post, comment 3 friends, and share the post on your story and tag my page in there. And then there's a bonus entry if you share your favourite post on my page to your story. And you win what even is the prize?
That seems like something you should know.
It's let me refresh my memory. It is. So you can either win 2 free 45-minute stretch classes for you and your bestie, or if you are a person who's not into cheer, so like mums, dads, parents, guardians, and like someone who is like super duper into it, you can win 4 free 45-minute stretch classes to give away to someone who is interested in that kind of stuff.
Nice. That's a heck of a prize.
Yeah, I know. So
I have to step my prize game up, I think, on these giveaways. Actually, no, I'm giving away free dance choreography to an entire.
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, so once I get to 1,000 followers, then the winner will be announced. So I think we've got just over 50 more followers to go. So fingers crossed it won't be long.
Well, we'll see if we can help get you there. So if you're watching this and you're not already following Chelsey, make sure you go and do that and win all that good stuff.
Thank you.
Stretch for hours.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, thank you so much again for joining me. It's been awesome. And yeah, we'll catch up again soon.
No, thank you so much for having me.
Pleasure. All right, take care.
And you, take care.
Bye.
Bye.